In this episode, we'll be talking about what is special about the Zerg. Zerg don't have shields like the Protoss and don't have repair abilities like the Terran. However, every Zerg unit and building, if damaged, will regenerate slowly over time. I've damaged this hatchery and I've damaged this Hydralisk, and if we keep them selected for a while, you'll eventually see their health bars are going up. This natural regeneration is slow, and there's no way to make it increase faster, but it's always active on every Zerg unit and building, doesn't cost you any resources, and will restore everything all the way to full health if you wait long enough. The Zerg worker unit is the drone. Drones create buildings by actually morphing into them. When you select a place to make a Zerg building, the drone will become that partial building under construction. If you cancel a building which is under construction, you'll get some of the resources back, and the drone will reappear where the mid-construction building disappeared. You should then send the drone back to mining resources as it would normally be doing. However, if a building actually finishes, there is no way to get the drone back. Even destroying a finished building will not return the drone to you. We're just going to wait for this building to finish so we can demonstrate that. This means that as you make buildings as a Zerg player, you have to remember to keep making more drones to replace the ones you lost. I kill this building, no drone pops out. You can only get the drone back if you cancel a building before it finishes. Fortunately, Zerg don't construct as many buildings as Terran and Protoss do, so you don't lose too many workers making buildings. Most Zerg buildings can only be placed on creep, which is this purpley-grey carpet of biological goo found in Zerg bases. You can see there's the normal map terrain, and then there's creep over here by the hatchery. The only Zerg buildings which don't have to be placed on the creep are hatcheries themselves, which can be placed anywhere, and extractors, which can only be placed on top of Vespene geysers. Hatcheries and creep colonies, which are the only way to spread creep. The creep colony is a building that you can build in the normal fashion. Creep colonies can also morph into sunken and spore colonies, and sunken and spore colonies also spread creep because they're an evolved form of the creep colony. Hatcheries and creep colonies have a certain radius around themselves in which they support creep, and when they finish constructing, as this one just did, if some of that radius does not contain creep, as this area does not contain creep, creep will spread outwards. You can see it happening. You can see the creepers spreading further out around this creep colony. And it'll keep spreading until all of the buildable terrain in that radius is covered in creep. Creep colonies can only be built on creep. I can build a creep colony on the creep, I can't build it off the creep. But if you put the creep colony near the edge of your creep, they'll extend it further outwards, as we're seeing right here. Creep takes time to spread. It doesn't instantly cover the whole relevant area, like power from Protoss pylons does. Also, unlike pylons, creep is neutral. While different players own the structures that spread the creep, creep itself is not owned by a particular player. One Zerg player can build their structures on creep, which is being spread by another player's Zerg structures. Although, of course, if you do that, you're likely to be seen and attacked. While Zerg buildings must be placed on creep to start constructing, they suffer no ill effects if the structures providing creep to them are destroyed and the creep recedes after they begin to build. Zerg buildings with no surrounding creep will still slowly regenerate any damage they take, same as any other Zerg building or unit. They will still function, they will still provide you all the technological capacity that they normally would. Zerg increase their maximum supply by building hatcheries and overlords. Each hatchery or lair or hive that you own increases your maximum supply by 1. Each overlord that you own increases your maximum supply by 8. Overlords are cheaper, they build faster, and they provide much more maximum supply than hatcheries do. Overlords are almost entirely what you will be using for the purpose of increasing your maximum supply. You never really build hatcheries for the purpose of increasing maximum supply. However, you will build extra hatcheries in order to access more larvae. which is something we'll talk about in a bit. Overlords, unlike the other supply structures in the game, are slow flying units. They are not buildings. This means you can use them to scout the map early on, and they serve as Zerg dropships and mobile detectors later once you've gotten some upgrades for them. Being flying units does make them vulnerable to some threats that wouldn't apply against pylons or supply depots, the Protoss and Terran supply structures. You also start every game with an Overlord, which is often used to scout your opponent early, because it's a flying unit that you have. It's slow, it can't attack, but it can see and it can move. So it's a scouting opportunity that other races don't have early on. Zerg often mutate their buildings into new forms. The creep colony starts out as a building which only spreads creep and does nothing else. But you can morph it into sunken and spore colonies. Only one of the two, but you can morph it. I'm going to turn this one into a sunken colony. Sunken and spore colonies can attack intruders. The spire can be morphed into a greater spire, which unlocks more tech to do with Zerg air units. And the Zerg main base structure, the hatchery, can be evolved into a lair, which unlocks more technology. And then, once you have a lair, you can further upgrade that into a hive. So there are quite a few instances where Zerg buildings will be mutated into new forms. They'll always do all the same things they originally did, but they'll now do other things as well when they're mutated. Mutating a building, just like constructing a new building, you've got a progress bar that has to fill up, and once the bar fills up, the building takes on its new form. A mutating building can't do anything else. This hatchery can't research upgrades that it would otherwise have had access to, for instance. Zerg make their units in a fashion completely different to Protoss and Terran. Protoss and Terran have production structures, which each have a single queue that works on building one unit at a time and proceeds to the next unit when the current one is finished. In contrast, all Zerg units come from the hatchery, or the lair or the hive, which are the evolved versions of it. Hatcheries, lairs, and hives over time spawn small, low-health units called larvae. Well, each unit is called a larva. Larva is the singular, larvae is the plural. You cannot command larvae to move or attack. They have no move command. I'm right-clicking right now, and this larva is not getting instructions. But you can command them to morph into other Zerg units, which costs minerals and gas to do. If I select this morph to drone button, I lose 50 minerals, and the larva turns into an egg. If I select the egg, I'll see a progress bar which is filling up, showing the progress towards making that drone. When the bar fills, the drone that I requested hatches, and I can start using it. I can command it to do things. You can cancel these eggs. If I start an egg and then I cancel, I get back the minerals I spent on that unit. All the minerals that I spent on that unit. All the minerals and gas if it cost gas. But while you get the resources back for a unit that you cancelled, you do not get back the lava that you spent on it. You have to wait for more larvae to spawn out of your hatchery, lair, or hive. Each hatchery, lair, or hive will only spawn up to a maximum of 3 larvae. There are 3 larvae right here. No more will be coming out until these 3 are used for something. Or until one of them dies, which is not usual, but larvae can be killed. They do have health bars. So if I morph all of these into Zerglings, and we wait a few seconds, eventually another larva will actually appear out of this hatchery. Since all Zerg units come from larvae, and larvae only come from hatcheries, Zerg players need to build a lot of hatcheries to build all their units. You'll need more hatcheries than just what is necessary for harvesting minerals and gas. Each hatchery has a command which allows you to select all the larvae associated with that hatchery. This also applies to lairs and hives, but you can also select the larvae directly by just left-clicking on the larvae on the ground or drawing boxes around them, the same way you do with normal units. You can also select all the larvae by holding down Control on your keyboard and left-clicking on a larva. The advantage of this is that if you have multiple hatcheries in your vision at the same time, and you control-click on one lava, you will select up to 12 larvae at a time, including larvae from multiple different hatcheries. The select lava button only works with the larvae attached to this specific hatchery. Control-clicking larvae is great if you want to give the same command to a whole lot of larvae at once. Notice that this hatchery here has rebuilt, it's spawned more larvae after the Zerglings that I built earlier. So these approaches are helpful when you're trying to morph lots of units at once. Zerg only build units using lava from hatcheries. There is no other way that Zerg make units. There is no Zerg building that produces units directly. All other Zerg buildings that exist serve only to research upgrades as static defense and to unlock the ability to build new units. You'll notice I can't build an Ultralisk yet. I have to build an Ultralisk Cavern building first. The Zerg race in general puts a strong focus on speed, aggression, and numbers. Thanks to the larvae system, a Zerg player can quickly build a lot of units if they have the resources. If you have several hatcheries, then you can build 3, 6, 9, 12 units all at once if you've spent the time waiting for those larvae to build up and you have enough money. Many Zerg units move very quickly and deal a lot of damage, but they're low on durability and they'll die quickly, like Zerglings. Zerg armies can often overwhelm the enemy with large numbers of units that are individually weak, and Zerg are excellent at inserting small harassment forces into unexpected places to do damage with their usually high movement speed. However, Zerg have trouble building up to powerful late-game armies, and it's hard to control those powerful late-game armies because powerful Zerg armies are made up of more units than powerful Protoss and Terran armies, since most Zerg units are individually weaker. The 12-unit selection limit really starts to cause you trouble as a Zerg player when you're trying to control big, strong armies, because there'll be so many units you need to issue commands to. When a Protoss or a Terran opponent has the time and resources to bring their strongest options to bear and to build up a powerful, large army, it's quite difficult for Zerg to match that. It can be done. It's not that Zerg is intrinsically weaker in the late game, but they have a hard time building up one single huge strong army and fighting in one place with it.